Riders, how's everybody doing this morning? Good. So we've got Alita Hernandez who will be speaking.
Good morning again. Thank you all for being here today so early as always. So when I'm doing portraits, I always try to understand what does my client want to show out in the world, what face do they want to put out there. And we have to keep in mind that portraits are also a type of biography that documents many things in someone. And since we're all different and we all have lived through different experiences in life, as a photographer, I would prefer to photograph someone or everybody under a different lighting condition. Because lighting has been always everything in art. Lighting is that crucial ingredient that will help you to tell a story. Lighting will also reveal some traits of that person's personality, but lighting will also set up the mood. And when I say mood, I'm referring to feeling. What do you feel when you look at an image? So for this presentation, I created two portraits. They're both black and white. Reason for why I did so is even though colors are more truthful to reality, they're more accurate to what we see with our eyes, colors are also distracting. They can be confusing. So I figured it would be easier for me to explain to you and for you to understand in a black and white image why I chose the different lighting conditions of the two photos, and I took into account several factors that play like a huge role when doing portraits, like skin color, skin texture, age, intention, purpose, facial bone structure. So this is my grandpa, an 85 years old man who has wonderful skin in spite of his age. However, I needed to find the right lighting for him because I didn't want this lighting to erase completely the natural texture he has in his skin, but at the same time, this lighting needed to be soft and gentle so it wouldn't show more than what it should. And as a result, we have the image of a man who's definitely advanced in age, but the lighting treats him really well. And I would call this a more honest type of photo. Nowadays, people are obsessed with having a perfect, unnatural skin to the point that you cannot even see one pore or an expression line on their faces. But since this is my grandpa, and this is more like a type of person that worked for me, I could afford more honesty. Now, with this younger man's image, you can appreciate that there is an introduction of the strong shadows on the left side of his face. The reason for why I decided to go with this type of lighting is because he's younger. He has a more even texture in his skin, is more glowing, is healthier. If I would apply this type of lighting to my grandpa, I'll guarantee you, he will not allow me to take another photo of him ever again because he will look so much older and he will hate that. Now, these shadows also adds more dimension, more contrast, and more definition to his face, which it turns in having a more masculine type of photo. Also, these shadows also increase like the drama and the mystery in the image. We're all familiar with the so-called branding photography, right? Which most of the time, they don't tell you anything about the person being photographed because all what you see is someone holding a mug, maybe working with a computer against a white background or a very blurry background. So we have no idea, no information about the person that we see in the photograph. We have no idea who this person brand is. And this photo repeats over and over again. And I'll emphasize, I'm not against this type of photo, I just have a different view, and I will share with you why I differ from it. So, I wanted to do something a little bit different.
Hey!
And we'll pretend that we don't know this man. So I'm going to do a brief breakdown of the environments in the image so you can see how incorporating the right elements in the image can help you understand who are you seeing here. And I'll start with a mug. Everybody loves a mug. Who doesn't have a mug at home nowadays? But the reason for what the mug is there is because it portrays this person logo, who this person represents, the IP Plus firm. There are books that not only informs the viewer that he's an attorney, but a trademark and patent attorney. Not only he looks professional doing what he's doing, he looks immersed because I asked him to do some real work and forget that I was there. So it adds more credibility to the image. And last but not least, I wanted to send a message that he's a type of attorney that will not bring you more issues into your life. You would rather solve them. I wanted to have big open windows in the photo with all the light coming in so it can actually reinforce that message subconsciously. Growing up in Cuba for 20 years has really influenced my fascination with architecture, and I want to share with you a short story. This is the last project I did for this pool company who builds and restores competition and commercial pools worldwide. So everything was set up for me to go on that day to photograph the last project. So I got up at 4 a.m. I drove for an hour and a half. I got there before 7 a.m. and when I got there, guess what happened? The pool was full of people. There were about 50 people swimming like fish. Splashing water everywhere, people belongings were everywhere as well. I even got wet. But I needed to get this project done, and I do face a lot of challenges when doing this type of work because there's so many things out of my control. Some people have asked me why I named my business the Marvelous Rio Studio. And what happened here illustrates the perfect example. Sometimes unexpected changes in our plans, what I would call like a marvelous thing, can definitely turn out in our favor. The company loved the photos. This is actually the project they have liked the most out of the few I've done for them. It is because of the people being there, because it adds life, and it also reminds of this intrinsic relationship between men, architecture, and engineering structure. Thank you. I will be happy to answer any questions you might have after me.